5 epic mistakes that I've made in my 3D printing entrepreneurial journey that are totally avoidable and how to avoid them. Are you really making money with your 3D printing business, or are you stuck repeating the same mistakes that could be costing you time, money, and even a potential growth? When I started my 3D printing business, I was excited, I was motivated, and most of all, I wanted to quit my job and work with 3D printing full time. But I quickly realized that excitement alone isn't enough. You need strategy, you need to take smart decisions, and you need to have the ability to learn from that mistakes. And believe me, this is incredibly hard. I made a lot of mistakes, but today I'm going to share the 5 biggest ones that almost derailed my business. The goal is to help you avoid the same pitfalls and build a successful 3D printing business. For those who don't know me, my name is Bruno Boas. I'm the co-founder of STLFLIX, and I've been in the 3D printing industry for a while. I absolutely love 3D printing. I launched products, I built the STLFLIX platform, and I've learned a lot along the way. Sometimes, and believe me, most times, in the hard way by making very tough mistakes. But every mistake taught something valuable, and I reflected on those mistakes a little bit because I wanted to create some lessons to pass to you. Whether you're just starting out or you are already running your 3D printing business, I believe these insights could help you to avoid some very costly mistakes and perhaps even help you to grow fast. So let's get into it. Mistake number 1, focusing too much on one single product. Our first big hit was the Bob Vase collection. It was modern, it was fun, and it got super popular. Sales skyrocketed, especially because we were featured on Big Brother Brazil. And these products, they were sold everywhere. And so we thought, this is it. We found our golden ticket. So naturally, we focused all our energy on that one product. How to officially sell it, who should we send it to, how to make variations of those. At first, it worked great. But there's one thing. Trends change and demand can drop fast and unexpectedly. And when that happened, I was not prepared for that. I didn't have any other product to pick up the slack. We were not doing that fast enough and we were not experimenting enough. One of the good things about 3D printing is that you are able to have total flexibility on what you are manufacturing. So really think about it. We strongly advise you to stay within a niche and find something that is relevant within that niche. But why not, once you're at it, try to focus on different products. Try to make a lot of different experiments. 3D printing allows you to do that. Other forms of manufacturing it costs a lot for you to launch new products. 3D printing does not. So take advantage of it. Looking back, I think we should have kept experimenting, keep testing, launching new products, especially when things were going well. Because if you're not innovating, you're falling behind, especially in these days that every market is a fast-moving market. So the lesson here is clear. Never stop creating and testing new products. Even if you have a hit product, always be thinking about what's next. The market doesn't wait, and neither should you. Mistake number 2, not optimizing the G-code. This is a very technical tip. In the early days, I didn't think much about optimizing the G-code. I would often go to default slicing settings, and once I figured out a setting, I would just keep using that setting over and over. But over time, what I realized is that you can be losing a lot of time, a lot of material, and a lot of money by not optimizing. So let me give you an example. We had a product that initially took about 10 hours, but then we really looked at the G-code, really looked at the setting, did a lot of testing, and by tweaking those settings, infill, density, wall thickness, print speed, we got down 5 hours while still maintaining a quality that was good enough for us to sell. That's a big reduction per print. Imagine the impact that you have when you are printing dozens, hundreds of those units. It's massive, especially when you have multiple prints to manage on a farm. Another benefit of G-code optimization is that it reduces failure rates. If you have a product that have failure rates, you can look at the G-code and see if there's opportunities for you to fine-tune those settings, improve adhesion, avoid wrapping, and generally make your prints more reliable. Fewer failed prints mean less wasted material and less wasted time. So if you're serious about improving efficiency, take the time to learn your slicer inside and out. Test different settings, keep track of what's working, what's not working, and constantly look for ways to improve the same prints that you're already printing over and over. So a quick pause before we move on. If you're interested in mastering 3D printing and taking your skills to the next level, you should definitely check out STL Academy. We offer a course called From Zero to Revenue, where we cover everything about pricing, about how to sell your products efficiently in the marketplace. And we also have the Print Like a Pro method, where you are going to learn everything there is to learn about slicing and how to improve your products both aesthetically and efficiently as well. So you can print more, print better, and with less failure. Everything is designed to help makers turn their passion into a profitable business. You're going to find the link in the description below. Don't miss out. All right, let's get back. Mistake number 3, losing control of production. This one really hit us hard. As we started focusing more on sales and marketing, we gradually lost sight of the production process. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. Things were running smoothly, orders were being fulfilled, and everything looked fine from the outside. But behind the scenes, things started to slip. Our failure rate increased a lot dramatically. Material usage wasn't being tracked properly, so we were wasting a lot of material that could be used, and we were missing opportunities to reduce costs and improve efficiency. By the time we noticed it, we were wasting a significant amount of time, thus decreasing the profitability of the business, which is something that you should always be looking for. One of the biggest lessons I learned here is that production is the backbone of a 3D printing business. It's where your costs are generated. And if you're not monitoring close enough, you're risking your profitability. Whether it's tracking failure rates, keeping an eye on material usage, or even ensuring your machines are properly maintained, staying on top of production is essential. Mistake number 4, scaling too quickly. Scaling is very exciting. Whenever I walked inside the warehouse and I would see those printers lying around, it was a very cool moment for me. It was really a moment of self-realization. And when things start to go well, you want to scale fast. So we bought more machines, we stocked up materials, and we expanded production capacity, believing that we would have a capacity that would sustain along the time. But here's the problem. We didn't have a consistent demand that would justify the level that scale that we created. So we ended up with idle machines, excess inventories, and obviously cash flow issues. Instead of boosting our growth, scaling too quickly actually slowed us down. The takeaway here, scale, but do it smart. Make sure you have a steady demand before you make big investments, and always keep an eye on cash flow. Growing too fast can be just as dangerous as not growing at all. Mistake number 5, and perhaps the worst mistake that I did my entire 3D printing journey, is not using intellectual property protection. This was my costliest mistake. For a long time, I ignored the fact that people were copying my product. I figured, what can I do? It's just part of the game. I didn't think there was an alternative out there that would help. But the truth is that there are tools available to protect your creation. Marketplaces like Etsy, like Mercado Libre here in Brazil, they have systems in place for you to structure and file an intellectual property complaint. And if I had registered my designs in time as an industrial design, I could have taken action against the copycats, and this would have brought me a lot more sales in the long. At one point, everybody that was copying me was selling even more than I was, because I had a structure, I had a business, and a lot more cost than all my competitors would have just staying in their house. So I could not compete efficiently against them. The lesson here, don't underestimate the importance of intellectual property protection. It might seem like a hassle, like a bureaucracy at first, but believe me, I learned the hard way. It's absolutely worth it. Register your design, know your rights, and don't be afraid to enforce them. It's your right in the end of the day. And those were the 5 biggest mistakes that I made in my 3D printing business. I hope sharing these lessons with you help you avoid some of the pitfalls that we have encountered and make your journey smoother and successful. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out STLFLIX for thousands of curated models that you can also explore commercially if you want to make your 3D printing journey even more successful. And obviously, STL Academy to sharpen your skills and grow your 3D printing business. See you in the next video. Happy printing.